Hey there friends, it's me Peter. I know it's been a while since you've seen me on this channel, but here I am, back and, well, maybe better than ever. That's up to you to decide. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy during this quarantine time and during these stay-at-home orders, and I hope you're all doing very, very well and that your families and friends are safe as well. As I've been staying at home, I've been trying to think of ways that I could possibly bring back my YouTube channel, try some new things, and I've been going around YouTube looking up other channels, and I found a new concept for a video that I'm going to try. Inspired by YouTuber BrutalMoose, I am going to go through a couple VHS tapes I found just to explore them and see what's on them. I'll leave a link in the description down below so you can check out his original videos. I've only got one VHS tape to explore today, but I think you might find it to be a very interesting one. As you can see, the tape in question has Mr. Bean written on it. I was a huge Mr. Bean fan when I was a kid, and I had several episodes recorded. I now have the whole series on DVD, so I'm curious to see what's on this tape. If this is the tape I think it is, it's probably got the recordings that were recorded off of WTTW Channel 11 in the 90s. So what do you say we pop the tape in the VCR and see what's on it? And now that the tape has been rewound, let's hit play and see what's on here. As I expected, it is in fact a Mr. Bean episode. Can't tell just yet which episode it is, but let's take a look. Oh, Mr. Bean. This is one of the episodes where I'll have to wait a few minutes to see which episode it was. This may not be the tape I think it is, because the tape I'm familiar with started off with him being in the hospital. Oh, this is interesting. This is Tee Off Mr. Bean. When I was younger, Tee Off Mr. Bean was the one episode I don't ever remember having on tape. So this tape's an interesting one. It's not the same tape I thought it was. So I'm curious to see what else is on here. I'm going to go through it. He's trying to bring all of his laundry in. But I'm going to go through this tape, see what's on it, and see what other episodes I can uncover. Now, as I'm watching this episode, the one thing I'm reminded of is that while Mr. Bean was hilarious, he actually was kind of a jerk, too. The episode I'm watching, he's at the laundromat, and there's a guy there that he doesn't really like, so what he does is he suddenly gets a cup of coffee, and then he swaps it with the laundry detergent, and the guy doesn't notice, and, well, you'll see what happens. So here's the guy that Mr. Bean doesn't like. Guy casually looks at Mr. Bean, and instead of pouring detergent in, he pours coffee. Well, that guy's clothes are gonna have seen better days. Oh! Gross. Oh gosh. Moral of the story, kids, do not drink laundry detergent. It is very bad for you. What? Okay, so for part 2 of this episode, you can see the tracking really didn't end up too well. Part 2, Mr. Bean goes to a mini golf course, and yeah, as you can see, the quality really isn't that great. Luckily, I have this on DVD, so I can watch it in much better quality. Okay, I may have a date for when this was recorded. Here it says Sunday the 19th. Doesn't give me much more information than that, but obviously if I can find a time when Sunday was the 19th, that might give me an idea of when this was recorded. I would guess this was recorded probably in 96 or 97, if I were to guess. And of course, it wouldn't be a Mr. Bean episode without an appearance by his arch nemesis, the Reliant Regal. Yep, the blue three-wheeled car. I cannot believe that this was actually a vehicle people drove. It just this looks dangerous. It just doesn't look stable, and I can't imagine you could drive that without flipping over. Who designed this and why? Okay, so the second Mr. Bean episode on this tape is Goodnight Mr. Bean. That's the episode that started the tape I grew up with, the tape that I remember seeing. It's interesting that my family had 2 of these VHS tapes. I didn't realize it. Goodnight Mr. Bean's a humorous one. The first half of it involves him trying to get a pot off of his hand. He got a pot stuck on his hand, and then he also messed around with one of the palace guards, tried posing with him. That was kind of amusing. And then the third one is him trying to get to sleep, but he can't. I feel like we can all relate to that. I don't know about the palace guard situation, or even the getting the pot stuck on your hand portion, but yeah, Mr. Bean in some ways was kind of relatable, even if he could be kind of a jerk at times. But he was our jerk, and that's what makes him funny. Yeah. So after 2 Mr. Bean episodes, this show popped up. I am not entirely sure what this show is. It appears to be a restaurant show, probably a local show. Is that Phil Hartman? Okay, that clip ended very quickly. It was only about 2 minutes or so, but now I'm watching a Rowan Atkinson TV show. It's not Mr. Bean. I think it may be The Thin Blue Line, which was a show where he played a constable over in England. And can I say how weird it is seeing Rowan Atkinson in a role where he talks? Because Mr. Bean was largely silent, didn't say too much. I believe this is The Thin Blue Line. I'd have to double check, but that's certainly what it looks like. That looks like a police station to me. Interestingly, I've never actually seen an episode of The Thin Blue Line. I know my dad recorded 1 or 2 episodes way back in like 96 or so. I never saw it. I'm not going to do it now, but maybe I will take a look at this episode to see what the show was about. Again, all I know is that Rowan Atkinson played a police officer over in London. That's really all I know about the show. You know, strangely, I actually saw this episode a long time ago. The only thing I remember about it was when Rowan Atkinson's character was talking about the musical Oliver and the Dodger being a thief, and he literally just said that line right now. So this is the only episode I've ever seen, even though the only thing I remember about the episode is that one line of dialogue. So I'm watching the credits, seeing if there's any names I'm familiar with. I don't really see any names that are terribly familiar, other than, of course, Rowan Atkinson. I thought this might have been created by the same people that did Mr. Bean, but it doesn't appear to be. I'm not recognizing any names in the credits. Although, actually, Ben Elton, I think he was involved in the first episode of Mr. Bean. And here, this appears to be a second episode of The Thin Blue Line. So I kept going on, and there is now a 3rd episode of The Thin Blue Line on. Again, I will probably go back at a later time and watch this. What I recall, though, from when I was a kid watching it, I didn't think the show was all that funny. I was more of a fan of the Mr. Bean type of humor. Again, I didn't really give the show much of a chance other than that first episode. And obviously all I remember is that joke about the movie Oliver, the musical Oliver, excuse me. But, you know, give it another chance, see what it's about. Not right now, but I'll do it later. And I've now come across a 4th episode of The Thin Blue Line. Plenty of episodes for me to check out. I actually don't know how long the series went on for. I'd have to double check that, but I didn't realize I had that many on a VHS tape. And as I go through this and fast forward, we are now on episode 5 of The Thin Blue Line. Okay, so after that 5th episode of The Thin Blue Line, it appears Telemundo was recorded. It looks like quite a celebratory occasion. I don't know what's going on, but let me watch and find out. Okay, I have confirmed this is a New Year's celebration. The decorations kind of give it away with the clock striking midnight and all the party poppers and whistles and stuff. She also said El Año Nuevo, which means New Year, so it's definitely a New Year celebration from Telemundo. Don't know which year this was, though. Well, if that didn't give it away, I don't know what will. This is definitely a New Year's celebration. New Year's Eve 1996 to New Year's Day 1997. So that tells me these Thin Blue Line episodes were probably recorded in the fall or winter of 1996. See, New Year's 1997, Feliz Año. Okay, I do have to make a correction. I was incorrect. It was not Telemundo, it was Univision. My bad. Okay, I don't want to record the number, but this is a 1-900 number, which I believe is for psychics or fortune-telling, because the guy said something about money and success in your future. I don't know if that number is operational anymore, but I'm not going to show it just in case it is. Holy cow, that's Ricky Martin. I am 99.9% sure that is Ricky Martin right there. This was about a year and a half before Livin' La Vida Loca happened, so... Oh, that is definitely Ricky Martin.
Lo mejor de mi música, mi alma y mi garganta, con el favor de Dios. Aquí me tienen, para ustedes.
Okay, my Spanish isn't the greatest, but from what I can tell, he was talking about how he's been working very hard to get to America, to make it big in America. I think that's what he was saying. I'm not entirely sure. If one of my friends speaks Spanish better than I do, can you help me translate that? Thank you, it would be much appreciated. That is a nun performing a pop song on stage. This is not something I would ever have imagined I would ever see. I need to look into this. The song is called Un Raya del Sol, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's what it's called, which is Ray of Sun. Interesting. If anyone can help me figure out who this woman is, that'd be really great, because it's very interesting. I've never seen a nun perform on stage before. Well, the tape ended with the New Year's Eve celebration, and I gotta say, from what I saw of that looked like a fun celebration. No offense to Ryan Seacrest, but that looked like a lot more fun than New Year's Rockin' Eve. I wish I could have been there in 96, 97, even though I was, how old was I? I was 8. Even though I was 8, and I probably wouldn't have gotten anything out of it, it probably would have been past my bedtime anyway. That still looked really fun. Tell you what, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep this whole tape, actually. Yeah. And with that, my friends, that is my very first VHS exploration video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked it, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you want me to continue doing this. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and this is Peter saying see you later.